taken the time out of your day for this Q&A session. We'll jump right into the first question. So to begin with, what is the plant-based diet? Can you give us a breakdown of what it is, its function, and what it consists of?
Okay, thank you for your question. A plant-based diet, sorry. A plant-based diet is a diet, or I like to call it nutrition, is where you have to remove all the animal product. And when do you remove all the animal product? Is because these products are not designed for the human system. For example, it stays too long in the human system. Let's say if you eat fruit, it takes between 3 and 4 hours to pass through your system. If you eat raw vegetables, it takes around 12 hours. If you eat cooked vegetables, it takes between 24 and 30 hours to pass through your system. But if you eat meat, fish, chicken, it takes 72 hours to pass through your system, and this is too much. And as you see, the food that human beings are supposed to eat don't stay for too long, and that's why they got a very long intestine. And when you look at carnivores, they've got very short intestine because meat passes through the system very slowly. And what it does, when the meat stay for too long in your system, let's say if you take the meat, fish, chicken, you put that outside for 3 days, because 72 hours is 3 days. You put that outside during the summer. After 3 days, it's rotting. You will see rotting stuff and bad smell and stuff like that. And the internal human being temperature is 36 degrees. So what you see outside is exactly what's happening inside. So all the meat product that you will eat, or the animal product you will eat, will start rotting inside your gut. And that's why people, they smell bad. And we need to make use of perfume and deodorant to hide that smell. And people have got bad breath because of that. And as you can see, when rotting stuff is there, it smells bad. And that's why people can brush their teeth as much as they want. They clean them off, the smell is still there. It's because of that. And when you eat meat, obviously it's going to create constipation, because in meat animal product there's no fibers. It's going to create constipation, and when you get constipation, there are people who can spend they can spend 3 days, 4 days, even more than a week without going to the toilet. And all this putrefying stuff, decaying stuff, will be reabsorbed in the bloodstream, and that's how people get all the chronic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, high blood pressure, rheumatoid arthritis, and all these kind of diseases. It's because of that. That's why plant-based nutrition is where you eliminate the animal product. In that as well, you have to eliminate all the dairy products like the milk, the cheese, the yogurt, all these things. You have to eliminate that, because the cow's milk is made primarily, it's made for the baby calf. It's not designed for human beings, because in the cow's milk they've got too much growth hormones. And because of that, when we drink that milk, the amount of estrogen in the human system will go up. And when you've got too much estrogen in your system, it's going to be linked with ovarian cancer, breast cancer, uterus cancer, prostate cancer, obesity, and stuff like that. And as well, if you eat cow's milk, it contains too much calcium. And when there's too much calcium in your system, when you go to urinate, you will lose all this calcium. And as well, in the cow's milk, they've got too much phosphorus, and your body will have to neutralize that phosphorus, and it will have to leach out calcium from your bones your muscles, and your teeth to be able to neutralize that phosphorus. And that's how people get osteoporosis, where you get brittle bones and joint problems, inflammation of the joints. And you will see that in countries where the milk intake, the cow's milk intake is very high, you will see that there's lots of people who suffer from osteoporosis. And that's why you need to, in that plant-based nutrition, you take out the dairy product. And as well, you will have to take out the processed food. And essentially, the processed food is the man-made food. Everything that has been made by human beings are called processed food. And what you see them in cartons, in bottles, in cans, and stuff like that. And they've got too much preservative, coloring, additive, and all this stuff are not recognized by the human system, and they create havoc. They create lots of chronic diseases. And that's why you need to stop that. And in a plant-based nutrition, you take out of the animal product, the dairy product, the processed food, and we replace them by living food. And what you are called living food is fruit, vegetables, legume, grain, seeds, and nuts. This is living food because your body is living. You can only feed your body with living food. For example, if you've got a banana which is green, and after 1, 2, or 3 days it becomes yellow, which means that it's ripe to eat. And if you continue to live like that, it's going to rot. So you can see that there's a process. But if you leave meat, fish, chicken outside, the minute you leave that outside, the rotting process starts immediately, which means that it is dead food. And it's impossible to sustain a good life by feeding your body with dead food. And if you look at the processed food as well, you cannot take a chocolate, put that in the soil, and expect that to grow. But if you have a seed, you put that in the soil and it will grow. So you can see that you need to feed your body with living food. So basically that's what is a plant-based nutrition.
Okay, thank you for that very elaborate response. As we're well aware of at this point, you take certain verses from the Bible to justify certain points you make. Well, what about people who aren't Christian and have a different faith? What is your response to that?
Okay, my response to that is if I take verses from the Bible, it's just because I was born Christian. That's the only reason. I haven't got knowledge, a profound knowledge of the Quran, of what the Buddhists use, or all the other religion. That's why I give these verses, and it's only maybe 1 or 2 verses that I quote in my the stuff that I say. But essentially, the message that I'm giving to people, it's not a religious message. It's not that. Because all of us, we are human beings, our physiology is the same. So what I'm saying is it's concern all the human races, all the human race. It's not a religion message. So if I'm quoting a Christian verse, it's just because I was born Christian, like I've just said, but it doesn't mean that it's a religious message. The message that I'm saying, it's universal, because all of us, we've got the same body. So a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Christian, whatever religion people are, it still applies to them. So I'm not giving this message for Christian. It's for all the human race.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. Well, moving on, what is the connection between love and diet? Can you tell us a little about this?
Yes, when just the way I've said, when we eat animal product, we need dairy product, we need processed food, all this food, they've got no fibers. And because they've got no fibers, they will create constipation, and people can recognize themselves in that. Like I've just said in one of the questions, there are people who can spend 3-4 days, even a week, without going to the toilet, and this is very, very detrimental to the human mechanism. You need to go to the toilet every day, 1 or 2 times, or even 3. That's how you will see that your body is working properly. And because it's great constipation, all this putrefying stuff in your system, the decaying matter, all these things will be reabsorbed in your bloodstream, and you will have foul bloodstream. And because the blood goes everywhere in your system, it will go in your brain, everywhere it will go, and this will transform the chemistry in your system, and that's how people become violent. And you can see, even if you just to have a look, you can see that carnivores, they are ferocious animals, and when you look at herbivores, they are passive animals. You can see that for yourself. And like I was just saying, when you have a foul blood in your system, it's not going to be a good thing for you. You will become violent, you will become addicted, and it can affect lots of your emotions, and you will have negative emotions. And that's how what you eat and the way you react, the emotions that you've got are linked. And I will take, for example, if you've got in your house and the toilet is blocked. The toilet is blocked and you keep using it, and all this fecal matter will start overflowing, and let's say it goes to it goes through your bathroom, it goes to your bedrooms, your kitchen, basically everywhere you got fecal matter in your house. I don't think that someone could live in a house like that. And this is exactly what's happening when you are constipated. All your cells bath in foul blood with all this fecal matter, and you cannot sustain life, you cannot have good emotions. And that's how, after people go to become addicted, they go to illegal drug abuse, and all these things. They become, they've got negative emotion like hatred, envy, grudge, and stuff like that. But on the contrary, when you start eating the diet or the food designed for the human body, you become loving and all that. So that's how I can say. And even if you look at the Unza, it's a group of people. They live in the mountain of Pakistan. Up to this day, they only eat living food, and most of them, they live over 100 years old. Some of them die at 100 years old, 120. So all of them, basically they strive. And in these places, they can go and leave the house, the door open. There are no thieves over there. So you can see for yourself how the stuff that you eat can impact the way you think, the way you act, and stuff like that. So that's what I can say about that.
Okay, thanks for that. As you may already know, many people struggle financially. They can't make ends meet and overall don't have the means to be spending excess money. We know that eating organic asks for more money, of course. So with all of this in mind, what is your take on such a situation?
Yeah, what I can say is people need to now look at their priorities, because when you look, you will see that fruit is the primary source of energy for a human being. It's not all the other food that you eat. It's fruit. We are frugivores. So when you have to eat, you need to prioritize this food first, because that's the primary source of your energy. And if you eat more fruit, more vegetables, you would have a good health. And if people have to struggle financially, yes, I understand that the organic food, they cost more. But if more people have to start eating organic food, the price will go down. But what you need to understand is, when you eat meat, you eat all this dairy product, you eat this processed food, you are investing your money in food that are going to give you diseases. So you need to change your priority. You need to start investing your money in food that will give you life. And like I've just said, you need to invest in living food. You need to invest in all the stuff that comes off the ground, the agriculture. That's where you need to put all your mind. And if you do that, you'll have a good life. So there's no point for me of investing your hard-earned money in food that are going to bring destruction. So what you need to do, even if it costs a lot, but I think health is wealth. So there's no point of you having lots of money, investing that in other stuff, while your health is not good. So you need to invest your money in your health first. And your health is connected to what you eat. And you need to spend your money on living food. That's what I can say.
Okay. Now, a recurring trend in the modern day is people beginning to work night shifts, which in order to do, they must sleep during the day. It seems efficient, so why do you see this as a problem?
Yeah, it's not efficient, because if you look at all the creation, it's only human beings who do things differently. For example, you will see a bat. Bats, they sleep during the day, and they do the stuff. They wake up in the evening. But you will never see one bat deciding that, okay, I'm sick of sleeping during the day. Now I'm gonna wake up during the day and do my stuff, and at night I will try and sleep. It doesn't happen like that. There's no creature on earth who, when they are designed to sleep, for example, during the day, they will do the reverse. It doesn't happen. It's only human beings who do that. And this is abnormal. So when we look, if we have to go in details, we will see that when we sleep at night, there's a very important hormone that is released, and it's called melatonin. And melatonin is only released at night, not during the day. So if you sleep during the day, you're not going to have that important hormones, which is called melatonin. And melatonin is a very powerful antioxidant, which will fight inflammation for you. The melatonin promote good sleep, fight aging, premature aging, and will boost your immune system and slow down the growth of certain type of cancer. So you can see that melatonin is very, very, very important. And like I've just said, it's only released at night. So when you go work at night, come and sleep during the day, you will never have that important hormone. And people wonder why they get cancer, they got all these chronic diseases, and they don't know that sleeping at night is very important. And even when you sleep at night, because your body is very sensitive, even sleeping with the lights on will not give you the benefit of receiving that melatonin. You need to sleep in complete darkness. So people who do these night jobs, they are ruining their health. So the advice that I will give them is to try and find something else. So that's what I can say. It's very, very important to sleep at night.
Yes. What about the people that are older that can't get jobs as easily anymore, even if they wanted to? What about them?
Yeah, if they are old, yes, I can understand that it's a little bit more difficult for older people to get different jobs. But what I can say is, if you want something, I think you can achieve that. First of all, they even got the will to change that job. That's the main problem. So if you want, even if you're old and you want to change your job, if you put your focus, I'm sure you'll be able to find something else. Maybe not in a month, maybe not in 3 months, maybe not in 6 months, but if you keep looking, you keep looking, you keep looking, I'm sure you will find something. Because if you know that there's no point of staying in a job, a night job, which is going to give you diseases and you will die. There's no point for me, it doesn't make any sense. I understand that people don't have that knowledge, but I'm sharing this knowledge with you guys so that you will be able to make informative these decisions. So now that you know that sleeping during the day is not good, it's not going to replace your sleep at night, try to start looking for a new job, and I'm sure that if you put all your mind, all your intention, you will be able to find a job. So that, for me, it's not an excuse saying that I'm already too old.
Okay. Well, in this day and age, people have a very simplistic type of judgment. This means that they think that thin means healthy. Is this necessarily true? Does being slim automatically mean that you're in good health?
Yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, that's what people think, but I will really, really say that here, being slim doesn't mean that you're in good health. I repeat, being slim doesn't mean that you're in good health, because now all the focus that people are putting is to lose weight. But being slim doesn't mean that you're in good health. As you can see, there are a lot of people who are slim. They suffer from heart problems, they have got diabetes, high blood pressure, inflammatory bowel disease, osteoporosis. They've got all sorts of diseases. So being slim is not a guarantee that you're in good health. And in this society, people think that you need to be slim. If you are slim, you are in good health. But if you look, for example, at soldiers, they are in their 20s. And when they die in a battlefield, when they do the autopsy, they will already see that they've got plaques in their arteries. And when you've got plaques, it means that it's a start of heart disease. But they look slim, they look fit, they're in their 20s. So being slim doesn't mean that you are in good health.
Okay.
That's what I can say. So people really, really need to understand that. They need to focus on being in good health. But obviously, when you are fat, you are big, it's a problem. Definitely it's a problem. So I'm not saying that being overweight is a good thing. No. Being overweight is definitely a problem. But when you are slim, it doesn't mean that you're in good health. So that's what I can say.
Okay. Well, what about people that may enjoy having rather large muscles or big curves? What about people that want to maintain that physique?
Yeah, like I've said, people need not to make a choice. You need to decide, I want to be muscular and be sick and die early, or I want to have the normal weight and live longer. So people have to make now make their mind up about that, because when you do the bodybuilding, you need to eat loads and loads of animal products, and all this animal product, when you eat that, it's going to raise a hormone that is called IGF-1. And when this hormone is raised, it's going to be linked to cancer. So meat, animal product, give cancer. There's no question about it. And they have to make a choice. Or women who want to, because they are in a certain culture, when you are big, when women are big, it's really appreciated. But you need to make a choice. You want to satisfy that your culture of yours, or you want to be in good health. You need to make a choice. So I'm not here to say to people you need to follow exactly what I'm saying, but I'm just saying that, just telling them that they've got a choice. If they want to be in good health, they would have to make good choices, lifestyle choices. If they want to follow what their culture said, or maybe being muscular and stuff like that, it's a choice that they are making, and they will have consequences. So that's what I can say to them.
Alternatively, what about the people that are slim but would wish to put on weight?
If they are slim and they want to put on weight, I don't see the point of doing that, because I've just said that being big is not good. Being overweight is not good. So I don't see the point why these people want to gain weight, unless you are sick and, for example, you don't eat normally, you don't eat what you need, and you are too thin. Yes, maybe you need to do that, but you don't have to start eating animal product and stuff like that. You just need to eat what this body is designed for, and your body will decide what the weight you need to have. It's like me. My weight was 100 kilos or 15.5 stone. And as soon as I started to eat, I went on a plant-based nutrition. Within 9 months, I lost 35 kilos or 5.5 stone. And since that time, my weight doesn't change anymore. I'm not continuing to slim down. So now my weight is 65 kilos or 10 stone. So my weight is stabilized at that point. So if you follow a plant-based nutrition, your body knows better. It will know what weight you need to have, and that's what you need to do. So if you are too slim, start to eat what this body is designed for, and your body will know what weight you need to have.
Okay. Time and time again, you say that a plant-based diet ensures optimal health, but there are people out there who don't consume meat, dairy, or any animal products of that sort, yet still remain very ill. Why is this? What's your take on this?
Okay, what I can say about that is, yes, there are people who don't eat that, but if we look in our society, it's very difficult to see people who can spend a week without eating meat. Obviously, apart from people who are on a plant-based diet or some vegetarian, yeah, but some of them, they still continue to have dairy products. But what I can say, even if you don't eat animal product, you don't eat dairy product, you don't eat processed food, there's a lot of stuff that you need to take into account. And even if you look, because this question mostly comes from people who live in third world countries, they say here we don't really eat meat, we don't eat dairy product and stuff like that, but we are still ill. But when you look even in these countries, they don't spend a week without having animal product, even if they don't have much of that, but they still have that. And when you look as well, they still have dairy product. And like I've just said, dairy product is very, very bad. So it's not just to stop meat. And mostly as well, they eat loads of processed food. They eat stuff in cans, in cartons, and stuff like that. And people only blame the meat, but it's not only the meat. And you will see as well that they have too much soft drinks, soda, and this has got too much sugar. And this refined sugar are food for cancer cells. And they wonder why they've got cancer. You see all these commercial juices, they've got aspartame. So for example, you look at the processed food, at least 10,000 of this processed food have got aspartame. And aspartame is a nerve poison, and it's highly, highly toxic. And it gives loads and loads of chronic diseases. You can even become blind because of that. They drink beer, they drink alcohol, and all this will dehydrate your body. Like I've just said, they eat lots of canned food. They eat lots of stuff made with white flour. For example, bread. They eat lots of bread, which is not meat, but they eat bread. And white flour is very, very bad for your system because it gets refined, and when it gets refined, it's going to be deprived of all the vitamin and all the nutrient, and they become very toxic for the human system. And you will see that stuff like bread, cakes, biscuits, all this stuff are made with white flour. So maybe they don't eat enough meat, but they still have bread every day. As well, the white rice. The white rice as well has been refined, and it's highly toxic. They still eat that. The white sugar, it's processed, and like I've just said, it's food for cancer cells. You look at the commercial salt. It's processed, highly processed. Instead of eating that, instead of having the commercial salt, the best alternative is to have sea salt or Celtic salt or Himalayan salt. So you can see all these things, and for example, for the oil, mostly they use vegetable oil. And this vegetable oil are refined. And all the stuff that are refined are very bad. The good oil is the extra virgin olive oil, and you have to have that in a very small quantity. So you can see that all these things, it's not meat, but all this will give you bad health. When you look at the water as well, the water has got fluoride and chlorine. Chlorine is linked to cancer. Fluoride as well has got lots of side effects. It's linked to cancer as well. You will see that in water. If you look as well, the cosmetic product that people use for their hair, their skin, they've got benzoate, sodium benzoate, they've got sodium laureth sulfate, and all these things create organ toxicity. And when you look as well, they put the perfume, the deodorant, and all that are linked to Alzheimer. So when you look at all these things, you can see that it's not only meat that give bad health. There's lots and lots of products. So it's not because they don't eat meat or dairy product, but I've given you a list of all this stuff that can give you bad health. So you need to look at all this in the entirety, and then you will be able to control your health and have good health.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now sugar is a very concerning problem, as in most people's diets, it's very rich in sugar, leading to diabetes and other diseases. You are asking people to begin switching to eat fruits more often, but couldn't you argue that fruit contains a lot of sugar that could be just as detrimental to one's health and condition?
Yeah, that's a very good question. When we look at the sugar, we need to make a difference. When we look at the refined sugar that you find in cakes, biscuits, all the processed food, they are bioavailable, which means that as soon as you eat that, it goes straight in your bloodstream and will create spikes of insulin. And when you have your body is producing too much insulin, your system will collapse. and that's very bad. And as well, like I've just said, the food for cancer cells is the refined sugar. But when you look at the sugar coming from fruit, it's completely different because it's not bioavailable. When you eat fruit, the sugar will, first of all, the food or the fruit will go in your stomach, will get digested, and because it will go in the small intestine, and there is going to be absorbed in your bloodstream, and then your body will not have to produce a lot of insulin to do that, which is completely different from refined sugar where it goes straight away in your bloodstream. But with the sugar from the fruit, it will go first through your stomach, it will go, it will go through your small intestine, and then it's become available to your system. That's the major difference, and that's why people cannot compare the sugar from the fruit, which is natural, and the refined sugar. And for example, in my own case, I was pre-diabetic. The blood sugar, the sugar in my blood was at 41. And when you are 1042, you are declared diabetic. I was at 41. And now in my diet, I eat loads and loads of fruits, but my blood sugar is at 37 now. So you can understand that the sugar from the fruit is not the problem. It's not the problem at all. It's the refined sugar, which is very bad for your system. Because like I've just said in the beginning, the primary source of energy for a human being is fruit. We are frugivore. People need to understand that we are frugivore. It's like if you look at the gorilla, we share 99% of the same DNA. I repeat, 99% of the same DNA, but the gorilla, they eat fruit, vegetables, and tender roots. They don't eat animal products, but we share 99% of the same DNA. And if you look at gorilla in the forest, they don't suffer from diabetes, high blood pressure and stuff like that. But if you go in the zoo, where they give them biscuits, they give them cookies, you will see gorillas suffering from diabetes or stuff like that. You can see that the real problem is the refined sugar, which is bad. The sugar from the fruit is very good, and it's a primary source of energy for human beings.
Okay. Well, there's a famous quote: when diet is wrong, medicine is of no use. When diet is correct, medicine is of no need. Which in simpler terms means when one's diet is well, medicines are no longer required. This bears the question, after beginning a plant-based nutrition, must you immediately stop taking medication?
Yeah, what I can say here is that my job is not to tell people to stop or to continue with their medication. But what people need to know is medication is very, very toxic. And like I said, people become ill because of toxicity and deficiency. And you make toxins in your body by eating animal product, dairy product, processed food, by what you put on your skin, on your hair, and the way you think as well. All that's the way for you to put toxins in your body. And when you add medication, you add more toxicity in your body. And what you can see, for example, in all the medication that they give you, they've got side effects. All of them with that exception. Why something which is good for you can give you side effects? For example, if you eat an apple, I don't see what kind of side effects it can give you. But if you take medication, yes, you will have side effects. And what I'm saying is, if you go on a plant-based nutrition, you follow that diligently, you will not need medication anymore. And in my case, for example, the last time I had medication was in 2015. Up to this day, we are in 2019, I've not had any medication. And I'm on plant-based nutrition. And when I was suffering from high blood pressure, the doctors, they told me that I will have to go on medication for the rest of my life. I did not accept that, and I went on a plant-based nutrition, and I'm cured of high blood pressure without no medication. So this body is self-healing. It's a self-healing mechanism. So normally you don't eat medication to heal you, because you will see they will give you medication. They will say that they will give you medication for the rest of your life. For example, if you're diabetic, they will give you medication for the rest of your life. You've got high blood pressure, they will give you medication for your life. You can see that this medication don't do nothing, but in fact they will make you sicker and sicker. But if you switch to a plant-based nutrition, because your body is self-healing, it knows best what to do, it will give you good health. So that all I'm saying, if you go on a plant-based nutrition, in time you will not need your medication anymore. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Final question now. In this world, many people will find it hard to start. Others will see but won't apply. And then there are those who don't even want to listen. Is it imperative that people eat the way you do? Is your goal ultimately to force people into conforming to your diet?
No, I can't force anyone to follow my diet. What I'm trying to do here, I'm just trying to inform people, because most of us are ignorant. I was ignorant as well. I was buying meat product, animal product, I was buying dairy product, I was buying processed food and all these things. I didn't know that it was detrimental for my health. So what I'm trying to do now is just to educate people. I'm just trying to give people the knowledge, and that's all I'm doing. I'm not here to force anyone. So if I've got friends, I've got family members who are still continuing to eat meat and all that, that's a problem. It's not my problem. My problem is just to give people information, because most of us are ignorant. That's all I'm doing. So at least what I'm doing when I give you this knowledge or this information, when you go and buy meat, fish, chicken and all these things, at least you know what to expect. But I cannot and never I will force anyone to go to eat like me. But if you want to switch to a plant-based nutrition, at least you will be able to have the good health. It's like me. For the past 3 years, I've not been sick one day. And this is amazing, just by going on a plant-based nutrition, just to eat what this body is designed for. So that's all I'm saying. I give people the knowledge, I give people the information, and now it's up to them to decide what they will do with that. But I can never force anyone to follow the way I eat.
Okay, thank you for your time and the lengths you went to answer each and every question thoroughly. We'll be looking forward to your next Q&A session again. Many thanks.
Okay, thank you very much for taking this time to ask me all these questions. I'm really grateful for that, and I will continue to say thank you to people who are continuing to share my videos, because these videos give people information so they can make informative decisions. So I will say thank you and bye, and till next time, take care of yourself. Bye.